Howdy everybody, and welcome back to the Mega Man tutorial. So last time we started working on allowing us to start our stage, the Woodman stage specifically. We have nice big fat letters there to make sure we know where it's at. But we had to leave off because we were not able to demonstrate this object in practice because there are some objects that rely on an existing that do not yet exist, and we didn't have time to present them. So let's get cracking on putting this together. We're going to need to start by going over to our objects, room objects, and well, actually, make this a new category. This is going to be called player objects, specifically objects related to the player. And here we're going to create our object underscore teleporting underscore in underscore mega underscore man. Open it up, give it a sprite, not there. We're going to go over to Mega Man, sprite Mega Man teleporting. And then, once we got our Mega Man teleporting in, we need to give a create event and a step event. And zoom and enhance. Alright, next up, we're going to give this object, so you could kind of do this in two different ways depending on how you want to set stuff up. If you know the exact position you want this object to go down to, so if you make sure in every single stage that you create that the floor at the starting position is in the exact same Y position, so in this case it'd be 133, 134, somewhere around there, then you could just set your object up to go to Y equals 134, at which point it does its stuff. But in this case, I'm going to set this up slightly smarter. So we're going to give it image underscore speed of 0 because this is an animation. What's the button that opens? There we go. That's right. So yeah. Mega Man teleports in, but we don't want him to be doing that until we actually hit the ground. So we start him off with an image speed of 0, and this code is taken from our player object that we'll be putting in eventually. Alright, movement. Y underscore fraction underscore is equal to 0. X underscore fraction underscore is equal to 0. Actually, I don't even know if we need the Y and X fraction. No, we don't. Oh, wait. Yeah, we don't really need those. Speeds then. X underscore speed underscore is equal to 0. Y underscore speed underscore is equal to 0. And collisions. Tile map underscore is equal to layer underscore tile map underscore get underscore ID. Collisions and on underscore ground underscore is equal to false. Alright, that should be everything we need for the create event. So we need to be able to know what our speed is, and we need to be able to find out what layer is our collision layer. So in this case it's collisions. Coming down to the step event, we're going to give it some collision movement. There we go. Oh, Apparently the speed fractions were in there, but I don't think I need them. Yeah, I don't need them because I don't use speed. I use a whole number for my speed in this instance, so we'll just get rid of this for the moment. We are setting y speed equal to 8 because we want to go down, and that's all we want this object to do because he's teleporting in. Then we have our speed variable, and we use this move with tile collision script. Tell it what our tile map is from over here. Give it our x speed variable and our y speed variable. So if we are using acceleration, we can gradually increase our speed over time. But since we're not, we're pretty much just throwing it y speed equals 8. And this script goes through a lot of calculations and spits out what our speed and x speed and y speed should be, depending on if there's any collisions that are going to be hitting it. So there's a lot of information packed into how this script works. You aren't expected to know about all of it, so you can just use the script as it is currently available in the scripts, or if you want to get the nitty-gritty on the math inside, you can go to the tile-based collisions. Tile-based collisions and the object-based collision too, if you want. For the there's a tile and object-based collision tutorial videos on my channel that go over all this script. There we go. Trying to get it out in one piece. Then we also have over here some minor changes that I made to support ladders in this tutorial. So you can see right here. I'll go over these more as we get to that portion of the script, when we actually get to giving the player the ability to use ladders. So suffice to say, this little bit of code here will determine our speed as necessary and collide us with the floor when we reach it. And based on that little bit of information, var underscore p is equal to tile map underscore get underscore at underscore pixel tile map underscore bbox underscore left bbox underscore bottom plus 1. So we want to check at the bottom of our object plus 1 pixel, so just slightly underneath it. We are going to check to see if we've reached the ground. If we've hit the ground, our y speed will be set to 0 by our collision script. And underscore p, if that is equal to 1, so if we come back to our tile sets, our collision tile sets, this is tile 1, the ground tile. Then if we've hit that tile, then we are on the ground. This, of course, won't work in all games. I mean, sometimes you might be wanting to hit a platform tile or something, so you might end up wanting to say underscore p greater than 1 if you don't care what kind of tile it hits, or you could set up underscore p equal to 1 or underscore p equal to 2 or so on and so forth, depending on what you want. And you'll see some of that over in the Chip and Dale tutorial, where I have a big huge long case of all sorts of different instances where you might hit the ground that it can check for. Anyways, if both of these are true, then on underscore ground underscore will be equal to true. And if we've reached the ground, Then if y minus y start is less than 90, then on underscore ground underscore is equal to false, y plus equal 8, and exit. Though you could also say, yeah, y plus equal 8 we'll use there. The reason why we're doing this is, so remember we have this ceiling here that is used by the bats so they can go up to the ceiling when they need to. I could have used a different collision object or collision tile for this and set it up so that only bats detect this collision tile, which might have been a good idea, but as far as it goes, this works, and as far as I've got it set up so far, the bats will just, so they'll go up there and hit it. So our teleporting in object is going to start right here, and the distance to here from here is around 75 pixels, so we want to make sure that we have moved through this. So 75 plus our 24, so at least 95, so over 90 pixels, so that our bottom is underneath this. That way we don't get a false positive and end up teleporting in and end up standing on top of the ceiling here. Then we have image underscore speed is equal to 1 if we are on actual ground. Then we want to set our animation up so it'll actually start animating, and start checking to see if we've reached the end of our animation. Well, actually not hit end, but we want to actually hit frame 3, which is the same as end, really. Once we hit 3, instance underscore create underscore layer x y instances object underscore player. That'll be the most important object in the game. Audio underscore play underscore sound underscore teleporting underscore in 1 false, and instance underscore destroy. At that point we don't need the teleporting object available anymore. So we create our player object, play teleporting in sound, and destroy the teleporting in Mega Man. Alright. We are currently at 13 minutes, so let's see what else we can do. Coming back to our Go object. Let's see, we had teleporting in Mega Man, drawn on the GUI, user event. Nope, we're all done over there. So let's kill all these windows and let's go over to the player objects, create object, and call it object underscore player. Or you can call object Mega Man if you prefer, or whatever you want, as long as you're remembering your variables to make sure that you keep the naming consistent. There we go. We want Mega Man Idle. And let me pop open the code for this object here. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff we got going on in here. Alright, so we're going to add a create event, a step event, a draw event, and a plethora of user events, which we will use later on, but we won't make those until we actually get everything set up. So let's get started on that. So once Mega Man actually spawns into the room, we want to make sure that the camera is focused on the hero, right? So object underscore camera dot update underscore is equal to cam underscore mode dot targeted. So if the camera mode is currently fixed to the top left of the screen or whatever, we want to make sure that the camera actually is focusing on the player. And ID. That would be the unique ID of this instance. Coming back to our room. Actually, no. We don't need to go back to the room. I was thinking we were going to drag this guy into the room, but no, we don't need to worry about that because this object and the teleporting object all handle making sure that this guy spawns in properly. See, we don't have to worry about anything. We only have to put one object into the room to get Mega Man into there. Let's see what we got going here. We're going to have some enums. And copy and paste. We got our move state, move shoot, climb, climb shoot, jump, jump shoot, damaged, teleporting out, and I don't really use this, I believe, swap weapons, and death. We also have our weapons, of course, Buster, Atomic Fire, 1, 2, 3, 4. Atomic Fire is a multi-stage weapon that you can charge up. So it has 4 stages, and what you shoot changes depending on what state it's at. We have air shooter, leaf shield, bubble shoot, quick boomerang, and so on and so forth. Specials are different special items you can get in the game. But we don't really put any of this stuff in here. We're actually going to include the air shooter and the bubble lead because I wanted to program a couple of additional bullets rather than just the Buster. So that'd be interesting to you. And oddly enough, we did not include the leaf shield because I didn't, at least I don't think I did. No, I didn't. So the player can't get the leaf shield, unfortunately. Let's see what else we got. I want to make it clear here now that the weapons enum and let's come back over to the macros. So we have like this DS list for the masters defeated, and then I have another list somewhere for different weapons for how they're displayed in the menu when you open up the weapon select menu and so on and so forth. A lot of this stuff is really, really messed up how it's all set up because they didn't use a unified system and it was all messed up on their on the Mega Man games end, or else I just didn't see the pattern that they used when they set it up. So as far as it goes, I ended up messing everything up while trying to keep it somewhat close to what I saw in game. But if I were to redo this all, I would probably just have the list of masters defeated, and then you could reference what weapons are available based on what masters have been defeated and so on and so forth later on. But yeah, this is what happened with my setup. Unfortunately, we got all these weird enums that are running around all over the place that shouldn't be. Oh well. And we got a lot of variables we're going to bring in. So we got groups for all these variables. Our animation, we have image speed equals 0. Animation speed is equal to 0.5. That's how fast the animation should be playing around. Direction facing, dir4.right. dir4 is, if you remember, in our macros. Player states.move. iframes if false, iframe timer, time and timer. Then we have a damage flash speed, manual sprite change, animation timer, blink is false, current room is equal to no one, new room is equal to no one, previous state is equal to no one, climb underscore counter is equal to 0. Weapon is equal to weapons dot buster. Last damager is equal to no one. And invincible is equal to no one. We'll get to using those variables later on, but for now just put them in there so you don't forget about them, because it would not be fun to remember later on that you forgot to declare a variable. And we're going to be doing the same thing over here with our movement variables. X fraction or Y fractions, X fractions, X input, Y input, acceleration, friction, air friction, gravity, jump speed, max speed, fall speed, climb speed, and of course the X speed, Y speed, and tile map and on ground. This stuff from the teleporting object. These variables I spent a lot of time working on, frame by frame, copying the original Mega Man game. And these are as close as I think I can get them to how they had things set up. So I hope they work out fairly well for you. And last but not least, we're going to come in with the sprite lookup table. You'll remember all these variable groups from the Chippendale tutorial if you bothered watching through that. So we have our sprite, and we have a array here, a 2D array. When we are in the move state and our direction is right, then we want to have our sprite be Mega Man Run. When we're up, left, or down, Mega Man Run, so on and so forth. And it's just the same thing for all these different states. I'll give you a second to look at them. You got that? Good. So these are all the different states. As far as it goes, we actually probably don't even need the sprite lookup tables because we have just a single picture for each state, as opposed to, say, if I were to have a specific sprite for when you're looking right, a specific sprite when you're looking up, or a specific sprite when you're looking left, and a specific sprite for when you're looking down. That would require these more fully at that point. But since we just use one sprite for each state, it's a little bit more redundant. So anyways, that should be player object setup. And I think that's everything for today. We're at the 20-minute mark, and we want to let you all get back to your life. So let's go thank some Patreon sponsors before we leave. Whoops. Alright, we got Fragile Hearts, Crew Patreon, Damien, Kenneth Klein, and a new sponsor, John Dickey. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining us. And thank you very much for all your sponsors, for your support. It makes it makes it more rewarding for me and more well, I hope that once I actually start finding a use for all the money, I'll be able to find a way to make this more interesting for you. You know, maybe get better tutorial setups or something. I don't know. I'll have to figure it out as I go. All right, thank you, everybody. And remember, good luck with your programming.